Hello and welcome to Reality Check. It goes without saying that these are strange, dark times for the Indian media and for Indian democracy. And I was tempted to turn the gaze towards this spreading darkness tonight, but not tonight. There will be a time for that soon. For now, we soldier on, our focus as ever on what we would like to think are the real issues. So tonight, the spreading unrest in rural India. Now, no sooner than the farmers' unrest began to slow down in Maharashtra, it flared up in Madhya Pradesh, where, as these pictures suggest, farmers went on a rampage, blocking traffic, shutting down markets, clashing with the police. One police official injured in the eye, taken for treatment outside of Madhya Pradesh. Now, this comes on a day when farmers in Maharashtra called for a bandh as part of their similar ongoing protests. From a ritual of shaving heads to forcing markets to close down, to spilling milk, to even protesting outside the home of farm leaders who'd reached a settlement with the government. Now, 3 days ago, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra had met one faction of the farmers who'd called off their strike. The Chief Minister had made a number of promises, including to waive the loan of small and marginal farmers by October 31st, of a mechanism to protest them against falling prices of agricultural commodities, and also to make anyone who doesn't buy their product less than the government-supported price a criminal offence. But like we just saw, the farmers of Maharashtra seem unconvinced, and now it's the farmers of Madhya Pradesh too who seem to be aflame. We will be going across to our panel in just a moment from now. But before we do that, just to make it clear to our viewers that the BJP is staying away from appearing on NDTV. They're boycotting NDTV, which is why we'll not have a formal spokesperson of the BJP on the show. We indeed had one already booked earlier on, the spokesperson from Maharashtra, but he cancelled after he got instructions from his high command. But I did speak earlier to Prithviraj Chavan, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra and a Congress leader, and I began by asking him the allegation which the BJP has been making against the Congress that they, Mr. Chavan, it's being alleged, it is you and the NCP behind the protests.
No, that's absolute nonsense. If farmers were listening to Congress and NCP, we would not have lost the rural elections. It was as recent as a couple of months back. So that is all incorrect.
But the Chief Minister says that the issue is resolved. So then what's the problem?
No, it is not resolved at all. It is a demand which has been aggressively put up by opposition parties and farmer organization, particularly after the UP election. When Prime Minister gave loan waiver to UP in the face of elections, and then after winning the election, he actually implemented that pledge. Now, farmers said that how can you have one law for UP and another rule for Maharashtra? Maharashtra's situation is much worse than UP because the number of farm suicides in Maharashtra are highest ever, and particularly after.
But are you convinced of these assurances given by Devendra Fadnavis? What are your doubts?
No. I don't think it's serious at all. He should have been prepared. If he wanted to concede the demand of the farmers, he should have been prepared. He should have. What is he doing for, if not 2.5 years, what is he doing for the last 4 months? Ever since the agitation really took a very serious turn, he even appointed a committee to fix the quantum of loan waivers on 30th April. Now again, last week, a couple of days back, he had again announced another committee. What are the earlier committee? What is the present committee going to do? He is handpicked and selected a particular farmer leader, and he's made him a representative of the entire farm community in Maharashtra.
Right, but tell me something, rural distress is not limited just to BJP governments in Maharashtra. You being a chief minister of the state at a time when farmers also suffered acute distress. So where do you get the moral high ground on this?
You see, there is a qualitative difference. Ever since Fadnavis has come to power, there have been a series of very serious droughts. In the 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, we had very good rains, but then we were hit by demonetization. Now, it is not that we had drought years, but we looked after farmers by giving them immediate relief. The central government helped us to give that relief. But the point is, continuous distress for 3 years is a unique situation. And that's why we need unique. And the proof of the pudding is, look at the numbers of farm suicides. Highest number of farm suicides ever under Fadnis's watch.
Okay, well,
therefore we require a special treatment, and that is, we did that in 2008 because it was a special situation. Number of farm suicides had gone up. Now again, number of farm suicides have gone up. Even areas where there were no farm suicide, people are committing suicide.
All right, okay, Prithviraj Chavan, there many may question those assertions about how the Congress handled rural distress and farmer suicides. But let me expand the debate. Joining us is Seshadri Chari, senior leader, joining us from Mumbai. Thanks very much for being with us. Also, Rahul Narvekar, spokesperson of the NCP, and Yogendra Yadav, National President, Swaraj India, someone who's focused keenly on farmers' issues. Seshadri Chari, is this in some ways a Pandora's box that the BJP has opened up? I mean, I know the BJP is blaming its political rivals, but has the BJP opened up this Pandora's box of farmer protests by that initial decision to give a waiver in Uttar Pradesh, and now it has to deal with these fires spreading from Maharashtra now to Madhya Pradesh?
No, it is a Pandora's box, no doubt. But BJP is not the first political party to open this Pandora's box. Many Congress governments and many other governments before have done it. And I think it's a very, very peculiar problem, peculiar to our country basically, and the farming community in this country. So to lay the whole blame on BJP will be very wrong. But at the same time, we must admit that it is a Pandora's box, and we have a huge situation on hand, and it has become a series of acts of commission and omission by successive governments has resulted in this. Actually, this whole idea of farm credit, I mean, it's a very temporary solution. We can go into the details of what the farmers' issue is and why it should have, how it should have been dealt with, and how it could have been dealt with by earlier governments, and how this government could probably deal with it.
Do you think it was a mistake to have announced that loan waiver in Uttar Pradesh, which by the way I don't think has fully even come through? I don't think it's even fully come through. Do you think that was a mistake?
No, it's going to be a very huge, it's going to be a very huge drain on the exchequer of the government, any government for that matter, whether it is UP government or whether it is Maharashtra government or Karnataka or Tamil Nadu. Now, Tamil Nadu High Court has also suggested that farm loan waiver should be implemented immediately in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
The Supreme Court has also echoed it. I mean, we are seeing one side of the solutions that are being given, but all these solutions are very temporary solutions.
Right.
I think even there must be a political consensus as far as farm loan waiver is concerned, and also there should be a political consensus on farm credit itself. I think what the farmers in this country are demanding is not exactly farm loan, farm credit, but a optimum level of pricing as far as agricultural produce is concerned.
Yes,
they want proper compensation for what they produce. Agriculture should be treated as an industry. Unfortunately, it is not being treated as an industry.
They are demanding all of it. Let me bring in Yogendra Yadav. Yogendra, when you see now, of course, everything is political in this country, and it has become political now with the NCP and the Congress trying to corner the government in Maharashtra and in fact indeed in Madhya Pradesh, saying that they've not done enough for farmers. But as we know, and as you've often gone and found out yourself, no political party has the moral high ground on rural distress.
Absolutely, Srinivasan. So therefore, let me just begin by thanking you, complimenting you for noticing this problem. This is such a huge issue, and NDTV has at least taken it up, which is very, very rare in the media today. Let me also say, let's not get into only the farm loan waiver as Pandora's box or whatever it might be called, because that gives an impression as if the problem began 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when UP announced farm loan waiver.
Right.
The real issue, let's face it squarely, is that farmers in this country have very little income. Farming is a loss-making proposition. What we are dealing with is not problem of one state. It happens to have ignited in Maharashtra. It's an all-India phenomena.
Right.
We are not dealing with one particular crop failure. We are not dealing with one particular bad season. In fact, we are dealing with a good season. We are dealing with a bumper crop. We are dealing with a situation where after a bumper crop, farmers fail to get price. So what we are dealing with is an ecological crisis of Indian agriculture,
right.
economic crisis of farming as an activity,
right.
and existential crisis of farmers. And unfortunately, the entire policy in this country has focused on production, not on the producers. They are interested in government revenues, not in
Yes.
farmers' income. That has to be addressed. And the tragedy of the country is that just when farmers face such a major crisis, which has been enduring across governments, we come up with a government, central government, which is particularly indifferent to the plight of the farmers.
Okay,
This is
let
the
me-
larger problem, and that's why this small little trigger in Maharashtra happens to have such a ripple effect. It's an extraordinary moment in the history of farmer struggle in this country.
Okay. Rahul Narvekar, now, you know, if you look at what has happened, it appears to be the great tragedy of the problem of plenty, because last year you had a good rain, so you had a good crop this time, but it came off a bad year. So you've gone from a shortage to a glut, and that's why prices have crashed. And those pictures are actually up on the screen. If you look at it across both these states, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, onion prices fallen 25% and 35%. Tomatoes down by 22% and 28%. Soya again down by 26 and 28%. Tur has dropped 27% in Madhya Pradesh, 52% in Maharashtra. Now, what is your grievance against the state government for this? Because they could turn around and argue that, look, this is seasonal. Sometimes you have a shortage, sometimes you have a glut. We can't control the rains.
Well,
Rahul Narvekar.
well, Vasu, first let me start by saying that I'm not interested in politicizing this issue, and I will not politicize this issue. How? Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? All right. So, Vasu, like I said, I won't like to politicize this issue, and I will not politicize this issue. But having said that, for a moment, just imagine the situation of a farmer. It's the most undesirable situation for him when he has to ask for a loan waiver. It's the last resource and the last recourse that the farmer has. Number two, please appreciate that it is not because of the farmer's fault, but it's either because of man-made situations or nature-created situations that he is subjected to this uncertainty. You rightly said that last year we had a very bad drought, and because of that we had a very poor and bad crop. After that, in 16-17 we had a bumper crop. When we had a bumper crop, of course, the government had promised a minimum support price, which hasn't been delivered. If at all it has been delivered, what happened was there was no currency available. Most of this trade was done on a cash basis, where the farmer had very limited scope for any time lapse, and therefore cash was the most desirable mode of exchanging their goods. That being the case, when they used to get a check from the state government or from the from the established agencies who would purchase their crop, they would get a check which wouldn't get realized for months. For 1.5 months, it used to not get realized. So what used to happen then is farmers were forced to sell their produce in the market at prices under exploitation. The government was very well in sync with this situation, but did very little to address this situation. Number two, while we talk about loan waivers, this is something which the government had promised prior to elections. This is something which the government has delivered in other states. With regards to minimum support price, that was in fact the very moot campaign point of this the party in government today, they had gone hammer and tong with regards to mentioning to rural Maharashtra that they would ensure that the cost price plus 50% profit would be the minimum support price that would be given. But unfortunately, these are undelivered promises.